Hey, chiropractors, welcome to Modern Chiropractic Mastery with your host, Dr. Kevin Christie, where we discuss the latest in marketing, business, and professional growth with some of the leading experts in the industry. Hey, docs, welcome to another episode. Today, I got a solo episode for you where we're going to dive into something I think that is all too common for chiropractors, and that is these capacity blocks that you may be facing in your practice. And it's something that is really kind of stems from my work with Strategic Coach and their concept, the ceiling of complexity and breaking through that ceiling of complexity. But like I try to do when I learn from outside of the profession is to then really bridge that gap into what we face as chiropractors. And so today I'm going to go over 9 potential capacity blocks that you face in your practice to growth. Sometimes these capacity blocks are going to be things that are really hindering you, and then sometimes it's going to be things that are just an opportunity, right? You're not hindered, but you could grow more and be even better. And I use that word even. We use it a lot in our. We just got back from our West Mastermind in Park City as I record this episode, and we talked about that in way back when on like the first 5 episodes of when I started this. It would be probably April, May of 2017. I had Hall of Fame public speaking coach Joel Weldon, and I recommend listening to that. But one of the things that he talked about in that is using that word even, and we mentioned it over the weekend in the mastermind. And it's a big word, right? Like if you said, I want to try to get you better, you might take it as like, "Oh, well, I'm fine. I'm good now. I'm not in a problem." But if I said I'm going to get you even better, that is something that just shows growth. And you could even, apply that to your patient, right? If they're feeling pretty good, you can say, "Okay, we're going to get you even better," or feeling even better. And that's what we're trying to do when we work with chiropractors. Is a lot of you are doing just fine, doing great, right? But you want to, you have a growth mindset, and you want to be even better. And a lot of times, these capacity blocks are preventing you from being even better. Sometimes they are obviously preventing you from thriving and being successful in general, and you can kind of sort through that, right? So, but we developed the tool, the capacity block breakthrough. We utilize this in the 30K per month online course that we did, which was a huge success. Keeping a lookout for that. We will be offering that as an evergreen. It won't have a handful of the things that the original cohort had, like all the live Zoom calls that we had and things of that nature, but it will still have a lot of the material. And obviously, it won't have the early bird pricing, but we use this capacity block as one of the lessons in that course. We're using it with our clients now. We did it at our mastermind, and we've gotten a lot of great feedback from this particular tool that we utilize. And what I'm going to talk about in today's episode is kind of 2 things. I'm going to run down what the 9 capacity blocks, the potential capacity blocks are, and then we're going to take one and show you how sometimes there's some underlying blocks that are happening with that main block that you think is the main thing, right? Kind of like when the patient has a knee pain, they think it's a knee problem, but you find it's a hip problem causing knee pain. And it's a similar situation here with these capacity blocks. Let's take a break from today's episode and announce our first sponsor. This is going to be Propel Marketing and Design. I've known Darcy Sullivan for years. We've worked hand in hand on my websites. I don't trust anybody else to do this search engine optimization. She does a great job. There's so much to it. A lot of the lingo and the words are beyond my comprehension, but it's just amazing work that she does. And if you're really going to get results with Google, you have to make sure your website is SEO optimized. And I really don't want you doing it yourself as a chiropractor. So you just have to have this type of stuff done. And if you're looking to get more organic online traffic that pulls in new patients, Propel Marketing and Design is currently offering chiropractors who listen to this podcast a free SEO website review. The free review will help you uncover methods that will improve your website and boost your search engine visibility. Head over to propelyourcompany.com/chiropractor and schedule your free SEO website review. You won't regret it. She gets great results. Your website needs this. Your search results need this. Head on over there to propelyourcompany.com/chiropractor to get your free SEO website review. All right, so let's dive into the first one. The first one could be you are lacking the support team members to reach your goals. It could be you don't have any, or you're just short one, or you're short two, or you're short half of one, right? You can use a part time help, and you don't have the support team members internally as part of your team, or even maybe outsourced like a VA or something of that nature, right? So, support team members is a common block, and a lot of people are afraid to make that investment in you got to look at support team members again, whether it's internal or external, as investment, not a cost. And if you too many chiropractors think of the support team members as a cost, and it really is an investment, and you need to make sure you understand that, and that you are willing to invest in team members, and that if you onboard them, if you hire appropriately, onboard them appropriately, train appropriately, you will have a team member that will produce an ROI for your business. And so you got to check if you have a support team member. So as if you're listening to this, obviously if you're driving, don't, but sort of jotting down if you think you may have any of these 9 that we discussed. The next one is a term I first heard from the Scheduling Institute, and they call it clinical duplication. I think in our world, it's the associate chiropractor. It could be, maybe a mid-level. Some of you have integrated practices, so you could definitely have some of that type of stuff like nurse practitioners and things of that nature. Maybe you have an athletic trainer. There's some clinical duplication there. It doesn't, it could be a registered or well-trained CA that's able to handle many of your modalities. But for the sake of argument, I'm going to put some of those in the support team members, whereas a clinical duplication, I'm saying they could duplicate exactly what you do, which is really the associate chiropractor with the DC license. And obviously, a lot of you fall into that. You're like, I just can't find good help, or can't keep good associates, or I don't know if I can afford one, but I could use one. And so clinical duplication is typically a big block for sure. Breaking through that ceiling of complexity that strategic coach talks about. And also there's another one, I had a really good episode. You could just Google search it, with Jason Holm, and that's Hulme, where he talked about a very similar topic on our podcast, and he had some really great insights on that. So I recommend listening to that episode. The third one we'll talk about is space. I think this is a common one that people run into, is that you're growing out of there's 2 things here that can happen. And there's probably more, but we'll keep it simple. You're growing out of your space, right? You don't have enough treatment rooms. You don't have enough rehab space. You don't have enough space to hire a second front desk person that you need, because the front desk isn't set up for that. There's all kinds of things that can happen with your growing out of your space. The second is an opportunity cost, which is different, right? If you're just, if you're running out of space and you're hindered there with seeing particular patients, that's definitely just a loss of revenue, and it would definitely fall into that opportunity cost. But then sometimes there's more opportunity cost that isn't so direct and obvious, and that is, say, you wish you could add the clinic gym hybrid, but you don't have the space for the gym. That would obviously be an ROI. Or you don't have any rehab space at all, and you could be billing rehab if you did, and you would be doing it. Maybe I would offer shockwave therapy, but I don't have the space for it, right? So those are opportunity costs that you haven't necessarily, you're not bursting at the seams per se, like the first example, but you would love to grow and add different services, but you don't have the space for it, right? And that could be a whole, I may break down some of these into their own solo episodes over the year, because that could be a whole episode, which many people would benefit from. Next is equipment, right? This could definitely look like a couple things, right? Don't you have a particular table that costs $10,000 and you love it, and you have another treatment room, and you'd love to have that another table like that, or maybe you don't have the treatment room for it, and you'd love to have a table for that. You got an equipment and a space problem there, right? So you can see how some of these can be deeper rooted, and that's what we're going to dive into in a little bit on this episode is how there's some usually deep rooted problems that fall into why you have a block there. But equipment could be that, or maybe your laser therapy is just blowing the doors out, and you got it's bottlenecked, and you got a line, and you need a second laser, right? And that could have its own. It's kind of like something I learned. I forget what it was, but you got to watch out for when you decide to buy something, and it's just say your personal life, and because it can lead to like 50 other purchases. It's like if you buy the house, and you just scrape together the money to buy the house, and then you realize, oh shit, I got to furnish this house. And then when you get in there and you furnish it, it's like, oh well, we kind of need more pillows for the couch. Oh, we need more blankets for this bed. Like it ends up one decision leads to like 10 others. And sometimes that happens with equipment or any of these, like, okay, I need a second laser, but then if I, get a second laser, I need a second person to operate that laser. If I get a second person, that leads to more, cost and yeah, and then you got more, management to do, right? But that's part of leadership and that's part of growing, and you can figure those things out for sure. But do you have an equipment block? Is it a situation where you need that second laser, or you would like to have that shockwave, but you're not sure if you can afford it? Again, that would be one. There's a underlying block to that equipment block, but many chiropractors have this, and it's something that I want you to make sure you work through. Let's take a short break for one of our great sponsors, TrackStat. It is a new type of software plugin for your EHR that combines patient communication, marketing, automation, and statistics with patient and employee tracking. Built by chiropractors for chiropractors, it shows your team what to focus on each day. See patient visit habits, missing information, unpaid bills, insurance collection visit average, and more. Great visibility of data so you can focus on filling your office with your best patients. When you can see what your staff and patients are doing or not doing and take action accordingly, your profits naturally grow. Take TrackStat for a test drive in your office with our free trial. Not a techie, no problem, we can help. To get started on your free trial, visit trackstat.org and watch the demo. That is trackstat.org. Next one is mindset. The reality of it is a lot of you have mindset blocks. You have poverty mindset that's preventing you from growing. You have a fixed mindset instead of a growth mindset. You're pessimistic about things. You're pessimistic about the profession, about insurance companies, about your town, about the economy. And you don't have any level of optimism around growth, and that is a problem. And the good thing is there's a book called Learned Optimism, which you can read and realize you can get better at that. There's a book called Growth Mindset, which you can read, which can realize you can get better at that. There's plenty of books on poverty mindset and escaping that commoditization trap. Some of you are worried about being too stressed, and growing would cause more stress. And so a lot of times there's a lot of mindset issues. And that's something that, ironically, I never thought I would get into with people when I started MCM early on, just helping people with marketing. But now as we've evolved and we do business and practice growth coaching and masterminds, you start to realize like a lot of it is mindset stuff without being all woo woo. It's just certain things of, maybe it's even lack of confidence in certain areas. And so you have to be honest with yourself. Is your limited growth a mindset issue? And do you need guidance in that? Right. And it's all kind of mentioned on the mindset thing. The next is time. Maybe you have a time block, or you're just too busy, right? We have a kind of a phrase that we use with MCM is we try to get we try to get chiropractors from busy and broke to cash confident and time free, or time rich, and that's a big one. A lot of you are busy with patients, busy with admin stuff, busy with family, but you're not seeing the financial gain that you expect, and so a lot of you have time blocks that need to be, you just need to reallocate that. That's one of my favorite things to help chiropractors out with is time. As long as the person's open-minded, it can be solved almost in all circumstances. And that kind of leads to another one. Another block is delegation. And a lot of times people don't have the time because they have a delegation block. So that would be like a subcategory of time. But yeah, there could be a block in delegation. Maybe you don't know how to delegate strategically and you need help learning how to delegate. Maybe you feel guilty about delegating because you have a wrong mindset around delegation. Maybe you don't have the support team members to delegate to, right? So you can see how that can lead to that. But a lot of you have a delegation problem. You're doing too many things and you're not, as Josh Satterley would say, is you're not maximizing your DC license, right? And that's something to consider. The next one is profit and cash flow. A lot of you do have a profit and cash flow block, and that's a reality, and that leads to a lot of these other blocks, right? It's like, yeah, I'd get the shockwave, but I don't know if I have the profit or cash. Obviously, we can work through that. And there's options, there's financing, and there's also sinking funds that we coach our clients on how to save for things or cut things and be more profitable. What good profitability looks like, what good cash flow looks like. A lot of us never learn that, and that's something that we typically dive into a lot with our clients. And so you might have a profit or cash flow block that can lead to a lot of things. Let's take a short break from today's episode to tell you about the best decision I've made in my clinic in the last 10 years, and that has been adding shockwave therapy to our clinic. The outcomes have been really impressive. Certain conditions we were struggling with in the past, we're now seeing results with the shockwave therapy for that. And second of all, the ROI has been really good. When you make a big investment in something, you want to see a return, and we're seeing that return in clinical outcomes and in our investment, and that's been really nice to see. I chose Keenest Medical for 4 reasons. One is the technology is top notch. You have to have great technology. There's a lot out there that isn't quite up to snuff. The second thing is they have a really good clinical training. They have an exclusive partnership with Academy of Shockwave Excellence so that you can become clinically proficient in shockwave. You do need to get skilled at it. I think that's a big differentiator between practices that are getting great results and seeing the ROI is they have a great clinical aspect to that as well. So you want to get trained appropriately. Third is they have in-house service team for all of your technical support, which is key when you're investing in a machine like this. And then lastly, they have a very in-depth marketing and business support for you so that you can launch this into your practice effectively, that you can get that ROI on it, that you can get the clinical outcomes. And they also have really good financing options if you need that. So go to kinasmedical.com, KINAS medical.com, mention MCM podcast and receive a free shockwave in practice book with a purchase of a unit. So that's kinasmedical.com, KINAS medical.com, and mention MCM podcast. And then lastly, you might have a marketing block. And that's what I want to tease out a little bit here for you today is you just realize your clinic is not doing enough marketing. And maybe you built your practice and it's fine. You didn't know marketing, but it's just you. And you want to bring on another associate, or you brought on another associate and you realize now there needs to be marketing to fill 2 mouths versus one. And there's a lot of chiropractors that have a marketing block. And that one can have probably more than this, but 3 key subcategory of blocks that we find. And one of those could be support team members, right? It could be support team members, and you don't have the support to do marketing internally or externally, right? That can be one that you could outsource for sure. You may not have you might say to yourself, I don't have the time to do marketing, the time to get out in the community and do some public speaking or workshops or running events or whatever, meet people. That's a common one. You might have a profit and cash flow. You don't know how much you can spend on marketing. You're concerned about spending on marketing because what if it doesn't work and I wasted money? And that can be frankly a mindset. I'm only going to go through kind of the 3 here. Um, let's add mindset, 'cause there's a couple things with mindset. There's a few. You might say, I'm a doctor. I shouldn't have to do marketing. And that's wrong. That's a mindset problem. You might not think you have enough money, or you're scared to spend money on marketing. And that's wrong. You got to get that figured out and you should be spending money. Now, do you need to spend 10% of your revenue like some people say? No, you work your way up to a certain healthy percentage, but you do need to invest in, ROI driven marketing. You got to have that. And that's a problem for sure, right? You might have a delegation problem, uh, and you don't know how to delegate because you don't want to delegate to people or you feel guilty about it. If you feel guilty about delegating, that's a mindset problem, and you got to get rid of that one as well. To overcome this lack of marketing that your practice has, and that's what we like to try to dive deep into it. And so, what we do is we go down, we work with someone, is okay. What are these challenges? um, to your marketing, your lack of marketing. And I have like 5 here I'll rattle off, but one is I don't have enough time to do a lot of community outreach, like I mentioned. 2 is I'm unsure of how much I can spend on marketing. 3, I don't know what good marketing looks like and how to do it. 4, I'm an introvert. 5, I'm doing too many tasks in the business because I'm a bit short staffed, right? And so that's that support team member. And so those are some of the challenges that you have to do that are preventing you from doing good marketing. And the good news is you can overcome that. You may need help, you may need guidance, and you can do that. And you can sit down and build out a logical plan to reverse engineer this and tackle these obstacles, right? Like Ryan Holiday wrote about, the obstacle is a way. And that's what is good about doing this tool and looking at what the obstacles are and saying to yourself, you know what, I can overcome this. It's not going to be easy, or I don't have the wherewithal right now, but I'm going to find someone that does have the wherewithal to help me get through these. And I always like applying another strategic coach concept, which is the 4 C's, which is making a commitment to something, right? Making the commitment to overcome whatever block you have. And then having the courage to reach out to someone for help, to work through it while it's difficult, just like you did when you worked through it to graduate through 4 years of chiropractic school and take all those exams and graduate and have the courage to start actually treating patients. And then when you do that long enough, you end up with a capability. And so you might have a marketing issue now, but if you make the commitment, you have the courage to do what it takes, you then in your clinic will have a capability of marketing. When you do it long enough, you'll have confidence in doing marketing for your practice that is elegant and ethical and is actually driving the ROI into your practice. And so you may feel uncomfortable and not have a strategy of overcoming some of these blocks that we talked about today. But if you apply the 4 C's and probably seek help for this and coaching, you will get better at it as long as you do the work. And that's what we do for a lot of chiropractors in a lot of different realms. And so if you feel like you've had any of these blocks and you could use some actual work to get through this, to break through that ceiling of complexity that you have, or you just know that you have a level of growth you haven't achieved yet that you'd like to, your practice is amazing right now, but you want to get even better, we're here to help you out. And so just reach out to us. You can go to our website, modernchiropracticmarketing.com, fill out a form, hop on a call with one of us, and see if we're a right fit to help you out with these blocks and many other things. Yeah, anything practice growth, finances, marketing, business, communication. And then obviously we do marketing for chiropractors. Like we'll do your marketing for you, but it's not canned content. And so reach out to us if you're interested in that, and we can plug our team onto yours. So you do have the support team to help you with marketing and all the other aspects of growing a practice. So that is our episode for today. And I hope this resonated with you and you are thinking about a couple of blocks that you need to work through. And I have confidence that you can do that. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. And if you want to make the shift from busy, broke, and broken to time-free and cash confident, or you just want to continue with the exponential growth, check us out at modernchiropracticmarketing.com. Look at the MCM Mastery tab, watch the short video on there, and check out what we are doing now for evidence-informed chiropractors. We are equal parts coaching and marketing done for you. Yes, you shoot some videos, we help you with campaign strategies and ideas and really become a thought leader in your community. You shoot those videos, you send them to us, we produce, edit, and brand them to you. Then we distribute them through all of your channels. We also take them and we turn it into one good blog per month. And every other month, we have Darcy Sullivan producing a robust blog with a topic that you pick from her database to help with your SEO. So we essentially become your content marketing agency to make sure your practice is always having ethical, elegant content marketing to help grow your practice. On the coaching side, we also help you with everything from marketing ideas to business, communications, finances, anything practice growth, and really try to help prevent you from being stuck on that island. And we hold you accountable. We have a great group of doctors that are just doing amazing things, and we look forward to help you out to take that next step in your practice. So again, check us out at modernchiropracticmarketing.com and learn more.